Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lena, this is Lena's Bookshelf, and today we're going to do the book cover telephone tag. So this tag was created by Elizabeth from Reading Wryly. I'll link her channel and the original tag video below. Her channel is so much fun. I love watching her videos. She reads a lot of thrillers like I do. I feel like every time I watch one of her videos, I add another book to my Goodreads shelf to look into. So she's definitely made my TBR grow a little bit, but I really enjoy watching her videos, and when I saw her come up with this tag, I thought this is super creative and fun, and I thought I might like to try it out. So basically, she plays the game of telephone with book covers. So she starts with one book, and she kind of linked some covers together based on some different aspects until she got to 10. I decided to challenge myself and use only books that I physically own. Some of these I've read, some of these I haven't read, but I tried to challenge myself to find connections within my shelf. I also thought it would be fun to go off the last book that she talked about. So the book she talked about was Constance by Matthew Fitzsimmons, and it's kind of a sci-fi thriller about people that upload their consciousness to a system that then can create a clone of them so they can continue to live on forever. Didn't really sound like something that I would really be interested in reading. I'm not really a sci-fi reader, but the cover did have a little thumbprint on it. So I decided to go off of that, and the book that I am linking in my game of telephone to Constance is Defending Jacob by William Landay. And I linked it because the cover of Defending Jacob has a thumbprint or a fingerprint, just like on the cover of Constance. In this book, you're following Andy, and he is a lawyer, and he is tasked with helping some detectives look into a murder of a teenage boy that happened in his area. Come to find out, the only suspect that they have is actually Andy's son, Jacob. And Jacob is a suspect because they found Jacob's fingerprint on the inside of the jacket of the victim. So then Andy is having to basically go from defending the state and finding the killer to defending his son, whether or not he's the killer. And I just read this recently, so make sure you come back at the end of May for my wrap up to hear all my thoughts. But when I look at this, I see the boy sitting backwards away from the camera, and he's sitting outside. So linking to this book, I have The Damage by Caitlin, I think you say Caitlin Wearer. I'm not really sure. Caitlin Ware. And so I linked this because you have a person facing away from the camera and it's outside. I love this cover. I love all of the leaves and everything. I love the fall vibes that it gives. So in this book, you're following this woman, and her brother-in-law is actually the victim of sexual assault. I found this book really interesting because I had only ever read about female victims in rape cases. So this was a very different aspect. I thought it was very well done. Definitely look up trigger warnings though to make sure it's something you'd be interested in reading. So since we again have the woman facing backwards and outside, I linked this cover to Lone Wolf by Jodi Picoult. Again, you have a person facing away outside. This could be fall, it could be winter. Either way, you can tell it's kind of within the cold months. So in this book, you're following a son and daughter that have some pretty hard decisions to make regarding their father. Their father was in a car accident and he's in a coma. And he spent his life taking care of wolf packs in this wolf reserve. So the daughter thinks that she knows what the dad would want. The son thinks that he knows. So they have to kind of decide what they're going to do and how they're going to support their family. So we have, you know, the light-haired girl facing backwards. And so that led me to think of this cover. This is Blue Ticket by Sophie McIntosh. So we have the girl facing away with the light hair, and this time she's inside. So this book I have not read yet. It's actually on my TBR for this month, so we'll see if I get to it this month, but it's a dystopian story, kind of similar to Divergent, where you have a teenager coming of age figuring out kind of what the rest of her life is going to look like in this dystopian society. So the girl inside by the doorway looking away reminded me of Hidden Wives by Claire Avery. So again, we have a girl facing away from the camera and kind of standing in front of a window. And this book I've actually not read yet, but I know it is a book about a cult and deals with polygamy. All right, so switching gears from the people facing away from the cover for a little bit, I decided to focus on the window in this cover, and that led me to Never Tell by Lisa Gardner. So we have the window here, and it kind of has that light beige color, similar to Hidden Wives. This is part of a series, I believe, a detective series, but I actually read it as a standalone. This deals with a murder of a man. The cops show up to this man's house and find him dead and find that his pregnant wife is holding the gun. So the detective now has to figure out what happened. Turns out that this pregnant woman has actually had a lot of tragedy in her life, and so the detective's trying to figure out if all of these tragedies in this woman's life end up actually being connected. So I looked through my collection to see if I had more covers that had this window, and really the closest thing I could find to a window was a porthole. Which is still a window, right? So maybe this one's a little bit of a stretch, but whatever. So this is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. So this woman is on a cruise ship and she sees somebody pushed off the edge of the cruise ship. So she has to figure out who this person was that fell overboard and who pushed them before the ship docks. So then I decided to focus on the water droplets and the water on the cover, and that led me to Long Bright River by Liz Moore. So you can see here the color scheme and the water droplets are pretty similar. So this book follows a detective who's investigating some murders, and as she's doing that, her sister goes missing, and her sister has been the victim of some drug-related violence in the past. So now this detective has to try and find her sister before she turns up as the next murder victim. So a book that has a similar color scheme to the cover of Long Bright River is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. So A Flicker in the Dark actually follows a woman whose father is a convicted serial killer, and she grows up, and then similar murders start happening again. So she's trying to figure out if this is a copycat killer or if maybe her father never committed any murders to begin with. And that's how we got from Constance to A Flicker in the Dark. Whew. So this tag was a little bit harder than I thought, but I think I did a pretty good job. Let me know in the comments below how you think I did. Let me know if you've read any of these books. I would love to see some other people doing this tag, so if you're interested, I'm tagging you. Definitely hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!